Hey, how's it going? When Boundary entered early access, they added a few new Astro operators. Last week we talked about Dock, this week we talk about Fort. If you want to see the Dock video, link will be in the description. Fort, the heavy machine gunner of the group, is built like a tank and moves like one too. She has 3 health, 3 armor, and 1 mobility. As far as weapons, she has the MG, the RPK, the AK, the TK-47, the IDW, FOP, the CDP, and the APS. For equipment, Fort has the ADS, which is a trophy system. It basically blocks projectiles. The EMP grenade, the smoke launcher, the EMP mine, the HE grenade, and the 40mm cannon. As far as gadgets, Fort only has the grapple hook and momentum brake. My experience on Fort was a bit of a roller coaster, not gonna lie. A bit of it was because of the playstyle difference coming from Dock to Fort. Also with me being stubborn, not wanting to let go of the MG before swapping to the RPK. That being said, the progression that I used on Fort was going from the MG to the RPK and barely using the AR throughout the games. I will say, the way that I found that I could play Fort using the MG versus the RPK was a very drastic difference. To give an example, I used the MG and just was a hard kill, very annoying, versus using the RPK, which I could turn into a laser beam and just shoot anyone that I wanted from any distance. Moving on, let's talk about some of the good and bad things about Fort. First up, good things. RPK shreds. Multiple different forms. You can have the short barrel, the long barrel, the AK barrel. It just shreds in any form. It just really recommended completely over the MG. Next, Fort has the smoke launcher. I know other operators have the smoke launcher, but I feel like Fort gets the most out of it. I mostly used it to close the distance to snipers or to get in a position to bunker down. And finally, Fort is a multi-kill machine with the big magazines that she has available. Obviously you have to hit the shots and whatnot, but you can kill 3 to 4 people if you land the shots and you have a big enough mag. Next, let's move on to the bad things. Fort is definitely a bullet magnet. I don't know what it is, but when I first started playing her, I felt like everyone was looking at me, everyone was shooting me. It just did not feel nice. Maybe it was because I was using the MG and I couldn't win gunfights as consistently as the RPK later on, but I just felt like I was always at a disadvantage having to fight 3 people. Speaking of which, the MG is terrible when comparing to other guns. Now you can compare the MG to the RPK and see the differences and whatnot, but when you compare the MG to the TK, it just is no contest. TK will win every time. And finally, my last point, I kind of put 2 points together that have trade-offs. I'll talk about it. The first one is patch time. It's understandable that she has the most health and armor, which gives more patch time, but having to heal all the way up, that takes longer, and reload a gun, that also takes longer. Kind of puts you at a disadvantage, especially when there's a lot of spikes that are hunting everyone down. And the last little point I want to bring up is the movement. There's definitely a flow you can get into, but having such a big hitbox does cause a lot of patching, and like I was saying before, if it takes a while to patch up, then you're just going to get hunted down by fast movers like Spike and Doc. Moving on to my final thoughts. Did I enjoy my experience on Fort? Initially, no, but after swapping to the RPK, yes. Using the RPK was just a whole lot better of an experience, and maybe it's because I learned how to play Fort finally, but after I picked up the RPK, everything was smooth sailing. Would I main Fort? No. I like movement a little bit too much, and Fort just does not have that for me. However, it would be fun to play once in a while. If I had to give a loadout for anyone looking to main Fort, I would definitely put the RPK. You can build it however you want, they're all effective really, but RPK with the CDP as a secondary, using smoke and EMP as equipment, and a grapple for a gadget. Now, if I had to give a loadout to have fun with, I'd probably use an AR with the CDP as a secondary, use a smoke, 40mm cannon, knife, and grapple. And what I would do is I would run around with the 40mm and swap to the AR when I needed to reload. From my experience, Fort can use a little tweaking to make her a little bit better. There's a lot of small things I want to say, but it may just be me being salty, so I won't mention those right now. But all those things added up don't make Fort as fun to play versus Orlin or Spike. The one thing I will say though is the 40mm cannon should be single fire instead of 5-round burst. It just makes more sense and it feels a lot more comfortable. Anyway, that's the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section so they can be answered. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the dislike. I don't mind, just comment why so that way I can make it better for the next video. Speaking of the next video, it is about probes, so if you want to know how to use the Hive or the Sparrow, come on back next week, okay? Anyway, catch you next time.